Okay guys, just getting ready to head out on the ice here, so I've been playing with some rods, rigging up, and one of the things I get quite a few questions about are the GLoomis IMX Pro ice fishing rods. So obviously, they're beautiful, a little bit more high-end than a lot of the stuff out there, but if you fish a lot and you want to use, the best stuff, these rods are beautiful. So there's actually 12 different models, and they cover everything from, really light panfish stuff up to heavy lake trout rods. So I'm just going to go through kind of my setup. I do a lot of, living around Lake of the Woods. We do lots of multi-species fishing for, all different species. So from panfish to big lake trout and pike. And maybe I'll start with sort of the heavier rods, and we'll go through, some of those that I use for lake trout and a few of the walleye rigs, and then a few of the panfish. I wanted to say cranfish, crappie and panfish rods. But so the big one is the 413. So just like their open water rods, all the Loomis rods have a 3-digit code, and that's going to be the length in inches and then the power. So that's a 41-inch rod, 3 power, which is heavy for an ice rod. So this particular one, this is rigged up actually from the end of last season, little trout adventure, but heavy action. I can use a big hook on there. I've got some 30-pound braid, I think, and bigger reel, can handle big fish. One of the other things you can do, if you don't like to use tip ups, and you're into the big pike fishing, I love catching the big pike late in the season, you could actually use a rod like this with one of the iFish Pro sort of tip up outfits that work with a fishing rod. So the flag goes off and everything, but your rod's in a holder. You could use a big heavy rod like this and reel them in instead of having to hand line them. But that's a good rod for all the hardcore lake trout anglers out there. You can fish some pretty heavy baits, big hooks, and muscle them a little bit. This one's probably my favorite all around everything rod. It's a 392. So it's a rod that I'll use both for walleyes and lake trout. So if I'm fishing for lakers, I might beef up the line a little bit. Walleyes, probably stick with like the 8-pound stuff. But this is a little bit longer, soft tip, but it's got some backbone in here. There's one of my sort of favorite trout baits, just a smeltinator with a jerk shad on it, Z-Man jerk shad. But that's a good, good outfit for you want to catch some big fish, you can with this rod, and also it's very sensitive, very light, and you can use it for walleyes too. So yeah, the highest power in the ice rods is a 3, the lowest is a 0, a 1 power, and then we've got some 2 power. So generally thinking, if you're looking for a walleye rod, you probably want a 2 power, crappies a 1 power, bluegills, maybe you want to go down to the 0 power, really light, super light. But that's a 392 and a 372. So similar actions, the one's a little bit longer, and that's just my standard, jig and a buckshot spoon. Those are the rods that I'm going to use. Usually 8-pound braid, 8-pound leader, and again, you can go up a little bit if you're around some big fish. I know if you're fishing Lake Winnipeg all the time, catching the big giants, then you're probably using 10 or 12, maybe a little heavier leaders. And then getting to the panfish combos, we're going to go out and catch some crappies today, and I'm going to show you my system a little bit, but I like to use a little spoon and then a little jig with some soft plastic. So that's one of the new Z-Man micro finesse baits, a little baby hula stick. That thing's gonna work good. And then yeah, the spoons have been good, but these are both 1 power rods, a 311 and a 351, and just much softer actions. And for these, I'm a big fan of braid. Most of our fishing's in fairly deep water, so you just have so much more feel and ability to get a good hook set. It does freeze up a little bit more. We got a nice day today. It's just a little bit below 0, not a lot of wind, so we're gonna be able to fish outside, hole hop around, and not have any issues. But that's the Loomis ice rod sort of setup. Like I said, they're beautiful, very sensitive, light, and just a pleasure to fish with. So if you want to pick up, the best ice rod you can get, check these things out. One of the other questions that hear quite often with these rods, there's no reel seat. So they're designed with a Tennessee style handle, just straight cork, and it allows you to kind of put the reel wherever you want on there to, you know, so you have the best balance. And I'm a big fan of these. They're comfortable, little bit of electrical tape, and you know, that's all you really need. A few wraps, and then if you want, and you can find this at sports headquarters, but just real, you know, reel handle tape, and it's soft, it's kind of sticky. If it gets wet, it's still kind of got a good grip to it, and it's very comfortable, nice and warm, and you can kind of put that on there once you find where you want your reel to be. But generally, I like it to be, you know, a little bit forward of the halfway point maybe of the handle, and that's going to give you the best balance. You know, I can just hold it like that on my finger, and it's balanced nicely, and you know, when I'm jigging, I'm going to get a bite and just fish is in big trouble.